And we all have tools that we don't use very often, but what do we do with them? Now, I used to put mine in drawers or boxes. Sometimes I'd stash them under workbenches until I came up with a much better solution. In this video, I'm going to show you what I do, and it's super simple. Take these three for example: the bench grinder, the reciprocal saw, and the metal cutting chop saw. I only use these once every 6 months or maybe once a year. I don't want to be falling over them all the time or playing hide and seek whenever I'm looking for them. I used to store this bench grinder in a cupboard, and then other things would end up on top of it, and I never knew which cupboard it was in, and it wasn't completely obvious when I went to look for it. So I simply screwed a piece of plywood to it. This is a 1/2 inch ply, 12mm, because this is quite a heavy tool, and then I screwed a couple of French cleats to the back of it, and now I can simply store it on the wall in a bit of the workshop where I don't really use that part of the wall very often. This is normally on my top wall cleat, so it's completely out of the way, but it's always to hand. I know where it is. If I need it, I can get it. I can put it on the bench, and with a couple of clamps make it secure, use it and put it back where it lives. I do the same for the miter saw. I'll show you how I mounted that. So here's the metal cutting chop saw, and what I've done in this case is I've added some T-nuts, and then I can bolt the piece of plywood to the saw. I've added a couple of French cleats, and then I can keep it on the top French cleat on my wall, and I know where it is whenever I need it. It's also freed up valuable space underneath my workbench, which is where I used to keep it. It's a similar story for some power tools. I see people online making quite complicated tool holders for a reciprocal saw. I can't really think of any occasions where you would be using this very often. I only use it for renovating the house when I'm trying to chop out awkward to get to pieces of wood, like maybe some joists or something. So these tools, and even if I make a tool holder, I've got to then come up with somewhere to store all of the blades. These come in a perfectly adequate tool holder, which is the box they come in. So here's what I've done in order to mount that. So the reciprocal saw comes in a box like this. All I've done is simply fix a French cleat to the back of it, so it hangs on the wall. Now, I've done a very similar thing with a couple of nail guns. I don't use nail guns very often, but when I do, I know where they are. They've just got a couple of French cleats on the back. I've done the same with a socket set, a grinder box, and a couple of other tools like my biscuit jointer, for example. So they all live in one place in the workshop on a wall that's a bit redundant because it's above the small diode laser cutter. But they're easy to get to. I know where they are, and they have a home. They're not under my bench, they're not in a pile of stuff, they're not hidden in one drawer or another, etc, etc. Really recommend doing this. It's so much easier to screw one French cleat onto the back of a toolbox than it is to start making complicated, over-engineered tool holders for specific things that you don't use very often. Here's another example. This is my hole saw set. Again, just a couple of French cleats mounted on the back, and it hangs on the wall. I keep this on the wall near my pillar drill. Whenever I need a hole saw, I can just take one out, use it, put it back, and I'm good to go. Another couple of examples. I've got a dowling set and a pocket hole set. Again, these just have one French cleat and I can hang them on the wall. And these are hung on the wall at the end of my main workbench, my assembly bench, which is where I do this sort of work. So they're to hand, but they're out of the way. I'm not rummaging through a drawer or looking through boxes of where the hell did I put them. If you've done something similar or even something different, you have a different way of storing your little used tools, please drop a comment below. I'd love to see what you're doing. In fact, there's a posts section on the channel where you can post photographs of what you've done. I'd love to see stuff. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to a small channel like mine. You can hit the little bell icon if you'd like to see more videos as and when they come out. Anyway, I've been Alan, you've been watching. I'll see you in the next video.